I want to discuss how we can rise above failure and rejection and ultimately live our best life. Like getting over that fear of failure and moving beyond being told no and finding your yes and seeking out opportunities regardless of the challenges that you may face. We have to become more resilient. In fact, to begin the conversation, family, if you will please comment below. Be resilient. Be resilient. That's our goal. That's our mindset. Justin says, I'm grateful for getting a new job, starting with Delta Airlines. The job was on a hiring freeze, but God opened it up for me. Excellent, brother. New chapters, man. Build that momentum towards your vision. Be resilient. Be resilient, family. Be resilient. In fact, as you guys are typing this into your cell phone or your laptop, wherever you're viewing this from, I want you to make that declaration with me. Be resilient. That's what I've got to do to move forward. I can't control what's happening around me, but I can control what's happening within me. And in order for me to continue to make progress, I've got to be resilient. One success principle, one law of achievement that I've learned to adopt over my life, family, is very simple. I want to break down the latter portion of this quote during today's conversation. But again, this law of achievement, I believe, is something that we all should apply to our lives in order for us to truly build progress towards what it is that we want. And the law of achievement simply goes like this, one of them, right? Don't allow your success to go to your head, and don't allow your failures to get to your heart. That's worth repeating. Again, don't allow your success to go to your head, and at the same time, don't allow your failures, your mistakes, your temporary moments of defeat to get to your heart. Again, as it relates to today's conversation, I want to focus on the latter portion of that statement. Don't allow your failures to get to your heart. Because if we are not careful, remember, as we're stepping outside of our comfort zones, as we're pursuing bigger and greater things in life, you're going to be met with some form of resistance. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be times when you are rejected. There's going to be moments of defeat. And what the average person does is they give up when things become difficult. They throw in the towel when times become challenging. And we have to understand, regardless of who you are, regardless of what you're pursuing, regardless of what you're building in your life, one common thing that we all experience is that urge to quit. Everybody comment below. Don't give in to the urge. Every single one of us, we often battle with that impulse to quit, right? That urge to give up when the time becomes difficult, when the effort becomes challenging, when the process becomes complex and overwhelming, right? Every single one of us have dealt with or experienced the urge to quit, right? As the Olympics have concluded, many athletes have battled with the urge to quit. Every successful entrepreneur, every leader, right? Every student in some cases, right? Maybe they're going and pursuing their bachelor's, their master's, or their doctorate, right? Every single person has experienced the impulse to quit. Because we're stepping outside of our comfort zone and challenging ourselves to do more and become greater. And it can become very difficult for us to step into these unknown territories and maintain that focus, especially when you're face to face with challenges. But we have to understand every single leader experiences this urge. But the extraordinary make the conscious decision that they're not going to be controlled and manipulated by it, In fact, family, in order for us to redefine possibilities in our life, we have to develop a strength in our character that is not broken by challenges. Let me say that again. In order for you to redefine possibilities in your life, in order for you to reinvent who you are, in order for you to transform your reality, we have to develop a strength in our character that is not broken, that is not tarnished, right, by the challenges that we face. Think about it for a moment, right? Maybe somebody tuning into this broadcast, you wish you were further than where you are now. Maybe you've been beating yourself up because you're not where you want to be. You're not the person you felt you could be. Maybe you have been experiencing some moments of failure or experiencing some temporary moments of defeat. Think about what that does. Think about that what that does to our psyche and our mindset, right? In many cases, that can kill our morale internally. It can destroy our self-confidence. In some cases, it can dull our imagination and our vision of what's possible. And in many cases, we can often lose our sense of purpose. This is what failure often does. Now look at it on how, like, when we face rejection. Maybe somebody's working towards a goal right now. Maybe you've been knocking on doors and you haven't had any doors that are opening, right? Maybe you've been acquiring for opportunities and you haven't got that yes that you've been seeking and searching for, right? Maybe you've been building your business and it doesn't seem as if the clientele is getting to the place that you imagined it could be. Or maybe your products aren't moving in the way that you would hope they could, right? So you can take this side hustle and make it your full-time gig, right? And you've been experiencing rejection after rejection. Think about how this impacts our life. Think about how this impacts our emotional state. In fact, what I've learned from personal experience is rejection is one of those experiences and things that happens to us that really hits us hard. And here's why. Because it begins to attack our human nature, our human need to be recognized, accepted, and appreciated. Think about the times when you get told no. Think about the times when a door shuts in your face, right? Think about the times when you're pursuing something and you fall short and you experience rejection. In many cases, what rejection does, it creates a painful bondage that attacks us from within. And this is why it does it. It does it because it influences and it challenges how we view ourselves. When you get told no, you feel as if in some cases you're unworthy. You're not good enough. You don't have what it takes. Or in some cases, maybe you feel as if you're not lovable, right? It begins to attack the core of our identity. And when we feel unwanted or unloved or lacking respect or as if we don't have what it takes to succeed, this can take us down a negative downward spiral mentally and emotionally. And the way the mind works is always looking to answer the questions that are going on in our head. And what we often do when we experience discouragement and rejection and frustration, and we feel some type of way because of the experiences that we're having, we often look at our past experiences to simply reinforce what it is that we're experiencing. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You get told no, it doesn't work out for you, and then you begin to reflect on your past experiences, and then the way your mind works is like, hey, it never worked out for you in the past. What made you think it was going to work this time? Nobody ever supported you in the past. What makes you think somebody's going to support what you have, right? You're not worthy of this. You're not good enough. You don't have what it takes. And this is often the psychological warfare that rejection can often cause emotionally and mentally from within. But family, here's what we got to do to move forward. Everybody comment below, move forward. Because I know many of us are experiencing this right now, right? To some degree. You're aiming to level up your life and things don't seem the way that you envisioned them to be, right? You're aiming to create a new lifestyle, a new career, whatever the case may be. You're aiming to break generational cycles and you get told no. You keep getting doors shut in your face and now you're feeling some type of way. What has to take place, family, is that we have to get at the root of the beliefs that we have about who we are. In essence, we have to begin to root out the false messages that are giving us these feelings that we're unworthy, not good enough, incapable, or not able to handle whatever life is throwing at us, right? Now, this in and of itself can take some time to truly unpack how to get to that. Now, maybe during a later video, we can break down some practical things that we can do to really get to the core of the story that we're telling ourselves. But in essence, and as it relates to today's conversation, ultimately, what we have to understand is this. You have to release the damaging ideas that you have about yourself that have been holding you back, stunning your growth, and preventing you from making progress. Because these beliefs about yourself come into play every single time somebody tells you no. every single time you experience a moment of failure, every single time you experience a temporary moment of defeat. There's a story that you keep replaying in your mind that's hindering you from seeing who you truly are. But as it relates to today's conversation, here's what I need us to do. For everyone that may be struggling in this particular area, today I need you to adopt 3 beliefs about yourself. It's going to help you get to the next level, okay? 3 beliefs. Number 1, what we must do is you have to gain a sense of belonging. Comment below, I belong here. You're somebody important. You're supposed to be here. Belief number 2 is this, family. You need to gain a sense and a feeling of worthiness, meaning you are valuable. You carry value. You have the capabilities and the capacity to produce value. And number 3 is this. You got to recognize your competence. In other words, you got to believe that you are capable. So again, comment below, I belong here. I'm worthy and I'm capable. You got to hold on to these beliefs because again, these beliefs are constantly under attack when you experience failure. Think about that for a moment. You get told, no, it doesn't work out, right? You don't get the certification. You don't pass the test. You don't pass the exam. You didn't get the job, right? You went for the interview and they told you no. They're looking for a different prospect, so to speak. Whatever the case may be. In many cases, you feel as if I don't belong here. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of this. I'm incapable. I don't have what it takes. These beliefs are constantly under attack. But the truth about who you are, I may not know you personally, but this is the truth about who you are, regardless of your situation, regardless of your circumstance, in spite of what your environment may be telling you or trying to convince you of, you belong there. You're worthy of great things. And yes, you are capable of doing something extraordinary. And you got to adopt these beliefs. You got to say these things out loud. You got to affirm who you are, on the inside. Because what you believe about yourself on the inside will eventually manifest itself on the outside. Real quick story. And I'll tie all this together on how it really comes into play. But as the Olympics have been wrapping up, one of my most favorite races and events to watch in this 2024 Olympics was in the 400 meter, right? The 400 meter race in track. Man, shout out to my guy, Quincy Hill, man. Quincy Hill dominated, right? Quincy Hall. 26-year-old brother. I believe he's from the South. Remarkable performance, man. If you haven't seen it, check it out on YouTube. Type in 400 meter Olympic 2024 Quincy Hall. Quincy Hall, y'all. Man, gun went off. Start his race. Now, mind you, let me preface it by saying this. As I was doing some research on the 400 millimeter race, I found out that the 400 millimeter race is by far one of the most difficult races in track and field because it's an all-out sprint. Now, 400 meters, is one lap around the track. And these guys are running top speed. Now, in this particular race, right, Quincy, I believe when they made it to the last 100 meters, dude was in like 5th place, y'all. 5th place. And he hit like a gear that I've never seen hit before, right? Like he dug real deep, came around that corner, right? And I believe I was seeing like memes on social media where he's got that ugly face, like when you really hit and you don't care about what anybody thinks of you, how people are laughing at you, what you look like. His focus was on getting to the finish line, right? He's got this face. I saw a meme that said, if I send you this, and that his face and his picture there, it said, I'm running behind, but I'm still going to make it. Comment below, family. I'm going to make it there. I may be running behind right now, right? But I'm going to be there right on time. I may be running behind right now, right? I may not be where I should be, but you know what? I'm going to finish this race. Now, I watched the interview of Quincy, and he was talking about this race, and he was talking about how people were making fun of his face, and he said, when I turned that corner, he said the only thing that was on his mind, catch this, family, he said, I got to make it home. I got to get home, right? Man, if we had time, we break this down, right? He said, I got to get home. In other words, y'all, he understood I belong there. This is where I'm supposed to be, right? I'm worthy of getting there. And not only that, I'm capable of taking what I have and who I am to get to the finish line and make it in the first place. Again, when he came past the corner, 100 meters left, he's got 4 or 5 dudes in front of him. Everybody else is tiring out. Everybody else is getting weary. Their legs are getting heavy. He dug deep, and you can see it was nothing but pure heart, right? Pure heart. And what I get from that, right, and what I get from watching this race and the lesson that I learned from seeing this is ultimately in those times when you feel like giving up, in those moments when it seems like you're behind, in those experiences when it seems like you've been rejected, you've experienced some moment of failure, some temporary moment of defeat, you got to dig deep, right? You got to dig deep to get it to the finish line because you got to operate with the understanding, I've got to get home. I'm worthy of being there, I belong there, and I'm capable of getting there. That's the mindset that we have to have. D1, what are you saying in this broadcast? What I'm saying is this: you matter. And that's something that you got to hold on to. Who am I talking to this morning? You matter. That's something that you got to believe and you got to operate with. You matter. That's something you got to lead into this week's opportunities holding on to, right? You matter. As tired as you may be, you're important. As frustrated as you may be, you're still important. As weary as you may feel, you are still important. You matter. So you got to get home. I don't know what home is for you. That goal, that vision, that dream, that aspiration that you've set for yourself. But you got to dig deep to get there. Yes, you're going to experience some moments of defeat. Yes, there's going to be times when you're running behind, but you got to dig a little deeper, jump a little higher, reach a little further, do a little more, and become a bit greater to get to where you're aiming to go in life. But if you operate with the mindset that I belong there, I'm worthy of it, I am enough, I'm valuable, I'm fearfully and I'm wonderfully made, and I'm capable of getting to where I'm aiming to get to, with that mindset, family, that's when you'll become unstoppable. Because remember, you're unstoppable when you decide to be. And when you understand the value that you possess, when you understand the capabilities that you have, when you understand that you belong in experiences and achievements and results and outcomes that are classified to be great, you move differently. You rise above your challenges differently, simply because of the mindset that you have. Now, real quick before we wrap it up, okay? With this mindset, I want us to understand the only L's that we're going to take are lessons. Because what we're saying is not to say that you're not going to experience some form of resistance. It's not to say, again, that you're not going to experience any temporary moment of defeat. But what we're saying is this: we're going to approach it with a different mindset. As we step into this week's opportunities, I need you to operate with a growth mindset. Comment below, family, growth mindset. And what that means is, when you find yourself face to face with a temporary moment of defeat, I want to place an emphasis on the word temporary. Many people think it's permanent, so they make a permanent decision that's based upon a temporary experience, and they end up giving up on their goals and their dreams. We're not going to fall into that category this week. No, it's a temporary moment of defeat. Here's what we need to do to maintain a growth mindset. Instead of being defeated, I need you to get curious. Comment below. Be curious. What do you mean, D1? When you experience some moment of defeat, ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How can I do things differently next time? What's the value in this experience? You see how you can flip the script on your challenge? You see how you can change your perspective on your failure and your temporary moment of defeat? Anytime you find something positive in a challenging situation, you win. Like you get the victory, fam. Like Justin, if you can find the positive in a difficult situation, now you're pulling the value from the experience. This value makes you better. Now you can approach it with a better mindset, a better approach, right? A better philosophy, and create a different outcome. That's the mindset that we got to have this week, family. Nothing changes your life more than your perspective. Most people are knocked down by their challenges and never find the value in that experience, so they stay stuck in their frustration. What I'm saying is you got to remain determined and connected to your goals and your dreams to the point that even though you experience failure, you find the value in the experience and you allow that failure to make you better. As you become better, family, you step into the situation with a better approach and a better mindset to create a better outcome. Remember, it's not the weight that weighs you down. It's the way that you carry it. What D1 is saying in this conversation is carrying the weight of your frustration and your discouragement a little differently so you can get the advantage, the competitive advantage, to rise above that situation, whether it's failure or rejection, and build momentum towards your goals and your dreams. Don't allow that failure to kill your confidence. Don't allow that failure to rob you of your vision. Don't allow that failure to rob you of your sense of purpose. No, again, you're worthy of this. You belong there, and you're capable of getting to where you aim to be. But you got to have the right mindset. We've said many things during today's conversation, but I'll end it by saying this. If you don't get anything else out of what we've talked about during today's broadcast, understand you're capable of experiencing new and greater levels in your life. You belong where you envision, and you're worthy of getting there. So as you step into this week's opportunities, from that great brother Quincy Hall, in his words, your focus is, I got to get home. I got to get home. Comment below, I got to get home. Yeah, I'm frustrated, but I still got to get home. Yeah, I'm tired, but I still got to get home. Yeah, it seems like nobody's supporting me, but I still got to get home. Yes, I'm the first in my family to ever do it, but I still got to get home. Man, it seems like every time I take 5 steps forward, I get knocked back 2 or 3, but I still got to get home. That's the mindset that we got to have, family. And with that mindset, we can redefine possibilities and transform our life. If you slid into the broadcast and I was unable to give you a shout out, be sure to comment below. And if in fact this is your first time, or maybe your first time in a long time, put a number 1 in the chat, and then place your first name afterward. I'll be sure to shout you out. Again, place a number 1 in the chat, and then your first name afterward, and I'll be sure to shout you out. If you were picking up what I was putting down during today's conversation and found value during today's broadcast, put some fist up in the chat below. Let your boy know that you were hearing what I was saying and you're going to apply it to your life. Yes, Chatney, I got to get home. Justin, we got to get home, brother, for sure. A better philosophy for a better outcome. Mia, that's the mindset. That's it. Latoya's in the building. Growth mindset. That's the mentality, sis. Glad to have you tapped in live. Hopefully you and the hamster are tapping into the stream. Again, glad to have you tapped in. I'll be back another time. Glad to have you live for sure. Real quick, if you did find value, though, family, please share this out with the people that you care about. It costs you nothing, and it takes a millisecond to perform. Facebook, you can tag somebody in the chat or share this out with your entire network. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, you can share this with your network as well. For those watching this on YouTube, real quick, please hit the like button. It goes a long way in the algorithm. And then share the link out with at least 2 people that you personally know that can benefit from something that we discussed during today's conversation. I see the fist coming up. Excellent. Again, please share this out with the people that you care about. Also, if we have yet to connect on other social media platforms, what are we waiting for? Connect with your boy. I'm at D1 Gibson, pretty much on all platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, also X, formerly known as Twitter. Be sure to connect with me on YouTube. For those of us that are not watching it currently on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to my channel. That's where all of my long-form content is available. That's at youtube.com/David Gibson. Again, youtube.com/David Gibson. Also, tap into the website, my online store, free ebooks and downloads that are available. Also, information on my speaking services and coaching services as well. If you're looking to dive deeper on a personal level, be sure to tap in. Again, elevationisAmust.com. With all of that being said, family, let's wrap this thing up. You got dreams to catch and success to create, so we each got to get busy being great. Now, before we do conclude today's broadcast, if in fact you do find yourself in a challenging time right now or a very difficult season, come real close to your cell phone device. I want to speak to you personally. Whatever you're currently experiencing, whatever you're currently facing, I need you to understand it's temporary. This too shall pass. Say that with me. This too shall pass. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. So what I'm saying is you got to get tough. As it get rougher, you got to get tougher, right? You got to be determined to make it through this test and this challenge and understand that this is not your breaking point. It's your making point. You're becoming better, more skilled, more competent, stronger, more courageous because of what you're currently facing. So don't you give up. Instead, you give your all. You keep moving. You keep pressing. You keep building that momentum towards the life that you envision. One thing is for sure, if you give up, you'll never get there. That's a guarantee. But if you give your all, you'll figure out what you're truly capable of. And in many cases, you'll break those generational cycles. In many cases, you'll break those barriers that are standing in front of you in the life that you envision. In many cases, you'll redefine possibilities. And most importantly, you'll lead by example and inspire the next man or the next woman to do the same. So let's lead into this week with that mindset. And if nobody else tells you that they love you, remember your brother from another mother, D1 Gibson, has nothing but love for each and every single one of you. With that being said, have a phenomenal Monday, family. We'll be back at it next week, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, be effective, be successful, live with some passion, and most importantly, 3 pounds to your chest. If you will, please join me. 1, 2, 3. Be powerful. Thank you each for tuning in. Hope you have a remarkable Monday. Again, I'll see you next week. Peace.
I'm gonna make it. I can see my shot is here, so now I'm gonna take it. Gotta get up, get out, time to stand up, get loud, time to rise up off the floor. And I'm stronger than ever now, can't hold me down no more. I'm waking up, 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 I'm waking up.